The head of state made this announcement yesterday during his remarks at the second annual media brunch hosted at State House. Mr. Granger, who was very casual in his announcement to members of the media, said, "Let me tell you now, because you will soon find out that the list that was sent to me was unacceptable." According to the president, the requirements for the nominee of the chairman of the commission are clearly outlined in Article 161 of the Constitution, which states that the chairman must be a former or sitting judge of the Commonwealth. Article 161 also states that the chairman can be any other person fit to be appointed by the president from the opposition leaders list.
Let me read to you what Article 161 of the Constitution says. Subject to the provisions of paragraph 4, the chairman of the Elections Commission shall be a person who holds or who has held office as a judge of a court, having unlimited jurisdiction in civil and criminal matters in some part of the Commonwealth, or a court having jurisdiction in appeals from any such court, or who is qualified to be appointed as any such judge, or any other fit person to be appointed to by the president from a list of 6 persons, not unacceptable to the president, submitted by the leader of the opposition, after meaningful consultation with the non-governmental political organizations represented in the National Assembly, provided that if the leader of the opposition fails to submit a list as provided for, the president shall appoint person who holds or has held office as a judge of a court having unlimited jurisdiction in civil and criminal matters in some part of the Commonwealth, or a court having jurisdiction in appeals from any such court, or who is qualified to be appointed as any such judge. 4 times in one article, they mention that word, judge.
Meantime, the main opposition People's Progressive Party executive member Anil Nandlal says it is clear that Article 161(2) of the Constitution contemplates 2 categories of persons. Firstly, a High Court judge or an appellate court judge, a former High Court judge or an appellate court judge, or a person qualified to be a High Court or an appellate court judge. Or secondly, any fit and proper person. However, from whichever category the persons come, they must be acceptable to the president. Nandlal also notes that historically, of all the persons who were appointed chairman of Gecom, only Mr. Dudnot Singh, senior counsel, appeared to have satisfied Category 1 qualifications, although it could be argued that he would have satisfied the fit and proper requirement as well. All the other persons, Rudy Collins, Edward Hopkinson, Joseph Singh, and Dr. Steve Surjbali, lacked legal qualifications and therefore were all qualified under the fit and proper requirement. Just last week, Minister of State Joseph Harmon, at a post-cabinet media briefing, sought to refute any claims that the president was trying to skip steps in the appointment of the Gecom chairman.
The process, I think I must indicate this to you also, because there's been some amount of misinformation that's being peddled out there, that the process is this, that after the leader of the opposition submits that list, submits the CV of those persons, the president will look at it. If he is not satisfied that the conditions of the Constitution have been met in the list that has been submitted, the president can, in fact, ask the leader of the opposition to come back again with a fresh list. That is, he can do that as well. If after that is done, and the person still do not fit the requirements stipulated in the Constitution, the president can then call the opposition leader in for meaningful consultations again. And after that, if we still do not arrive at a person by that time, the president has the right to appoint somebody.
Jagdio's nominees are attorney at law and social commentator Christopher Ram, peace and governance consultant Lawrence Lachman Singh, former Army Chief Norma McLean, former UG Vice Chancellor Dr. James Rose, business advocate Ramesh Duku, and businesswoman Raihan Shaw. Newsroom reached out to Ram, for the sole holder of a law degree, for comment on the president's decision to disregard him as a suitable candidate, and he says he respects Mr. Granger's decision and he remains unbothered. Delisha Fletcher, Newsroom.